Hi friends, welcome again to the Joshua Madan Show. For those of you who are tuning in or watching for the very first time, this is a weekly show and we talk about topics like career, finance, family and also about leadership. So if you missed watching my previous shows, I'll try and put the links in the description. Please watch that. And I'm going to talk about a very interesting topic today, part of our career segment, and I'm going to speak about how to make money. So I'm sure it's going to be an interesting topic. So I'm going to request you all to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share this to your friends. So talking about money, the most important aspect of earning money is to actually acquire a skill. Skill is very important. Let me give you an example. My wife and I, along with my kids, we live in Chennai. When we live in an apartment, there are around 200 flats in the place that we live in. So when we just moved in here just before the first wave of COVID, we have a maid, and she actually comes from a very poor background, and she needs to support her family, her children. Her husband doesn't work, so she's got a lot of financial pressure on her. So she joined us, and she was doing a lot of little work like mopping the floor and washing utensils. And one day she tried to cook a meal for us. And what we noticed is that she is an amazing cook. And she really didn't know that. She was working in 4 other apartments in the place that we live in, and she was earning not much overall. In all the 4 apartments put together, she was probably earning less than 15,000. So when we told her, listen, you got this amazing skill of cooking good stuff, she actually realized she was a great cook. So she tried to work on this skill. So she slowly, in the last 2 years, she went to the places she worked in. She also looked up the other places where they were actually looking for people to help in making the food. And she slowly started eliminating works like mopping the floor, washing utensils, and rather she wanted to brand herself as a chef. And so what happened now is that she is actually earning around 30,000 just by identifying a skill, and she was actually able to double up her salary. So today we are talking about skill, and I'm going to talk about 4 to 5 areas where we actually would have to note, and if you actually practice that, you can actually earn a good amount of money. Number 1, you got to identify what skill pays how much. For example, I just told you that when a maid actually made the shift to become a good a cook, she actually knew that that skill would actually make her earn money. So you got to actually look up, talk to friends, probably talk to career consultants, and know different skills and how much if you acquire that skill, how much you would actually earn. Number 2, you actually have to find out, what you're good at, what we call as a gifting. What I mean by gifting is you can't do each and, everything that you feel will pay you well. For example, if you ask me to do programming, coding, I just cannot do that because I'm not made for that. So even though programming or coding and there are certain niche areas in the technology field which will actually pay you well. For example, in AI or ML, for those of you who don't understand machine learning or artificial intelligence or being a data scientist, these are the roles which will pay very well, but I'm not made for that, so I really cannot get into it. So you got to find out what you're good at and what you are gifted. I'm sure God has gifted each one of us certain skills. You got to find that out and got to work on your gifting. Third, you got to find a job, or you got to work on a skill that you love to do. I always tell my team that Monday morning you got to wake up and you got to love to go to work. It shouldn't be a drag on you. You shouldn't get up on Monday morning and feel, oh no, I have to go to work. So if you're not excited to go to work on a Monday, so you're probably in the wrong job, you're in the wrong field. You got to find out what you love to. People always say that, jobs which pay well, they're sometimes, forced to do that, even though you don't love doing that. But I would advise that you take up a job that you love to do. Fourth, you got to constantly upgrade yourself, as in, you would want to upskill yourself. The same example of my maid, she actually learned more. For example, when she started cooking, she would only know how to make South Indian food. But later on, she made friends with a North Indian lady, in one of the apartments. She started making some amazing chapatis. And last I heard, she was looking up at YouTube and starting to work on some Italian food. That's how you really end up upskilling yourself, and that is something that you would want to constantly do, because in any field, for example, even a medical field, I know doctors who really train themselves with lot of latest technologies. Lawyers look up the latest judgments. Any field you would want to upskill yourself. Even chauffeurs, drivers, for example. I know drivers who earn 15 to 20,000, but if you learn how to drive a high-end car, you will probably start earning around 35,000, because when you drive a luxury car, not every person can do that, and you probably end up around 35,000 or even more. So upskilling is something that you would want to do. Fifth, and the most important, is to stay put, as in you need to have the will, right? Skill alone is not important. You also need a lot of willpower to stay on. There's a saying which says grass is always greener on the other side, but it's important to note that when you stay in one job, learn the skill, you actually would end up becoming a professional. So don't keep on switching. It's important that you stay in one area, learn that and become a master in it. There's a proverb which says that a man, woman, whoever is good in his or her job, they will stand before kings. So, we'll talk about this later. There is something called as the 5 percentile rule, which we'll talk about it on another day. But if you are good in whatever skill, if you are in the best of the best, if you're in the top league, you will actually stand before kings, because you would want to stay put and be the best in whatever skill that God has given you. So today we spoke about skill and how you can earn more money by mastering your skills. So we talk about first identifying your skills. Second, we talked about your gifting, be in an area where you're gifted. Third, we spoke about loving your job or doing a skill that you love to do. Fourth, we talked about constantly upgrading yourself or upskilling yourself. And 5, we talked about will, of just staying put and not just moving around. So I hope this video would have been useful to you. If you feel this was useful, share this to your friends. I'll meet you again next week with another topic. So till then, thank you for watching. This is Joshua Madan signing off, wishing you a great week, and God bless.